You're eating healthy. So why are you still low energy? Maybe you're cooking your meals, you're planning your dinners, you're eating whole foods, you're doing everything right. And let's face it, moms already have a lot of pressure to do everything right. So why do you still feel completely drained? It's not just you, and you're not doing anything wrong. In this video, I'll break down the real reason your energy might still be low even with a healthy diet, and show you exactly what nutrients and food you can add in for a smoother postpartum recovery. You might be thinking, okay, I already know how to eat healthy. What are you even talking about? Your body has spent time, 9 months, give or take, building a baby. So it's going to take some time to replenish, to recover, to heal after childbirth. And time needs to be taken to rebuild using key nutrients. Oftentimes, this may be overlooked postpartum. We're not always thinking about nutrition in those early days of lack of sleep, lack of energy. But let's face it, nutrition is necessary to heal. And the goal here is not to bounce back, snatch back, none of that pressure on new moms to look a certain way after they've had birth. What I'm talking about is replenishing those nutrients that are going to help you heal and recover postpartum. Now, if you have a chronic illness, if you had postpartum or pregnancy complications, there may be other considerations that you need to take into account as you recover. Making sure to have good postpartum follow-up with your provider and with a dietitian. Nutrient depletion postpartum can last for months, even years, if it's never properly addressed. So just by watching this video, you're ahead of the curve with having the knowledge that you need. I've created a free postpartum grocery list with all of these energy supporting foods that I'm about to mention that you can have. Just click on the link below. All right, so let's get into these nutrients. So starting with the first one, iron. So iron may be familiar to you. It was probably brought up during pregnancy. Maybe you had some iron labs. Maybe you were deficient during pregnancy and had to take supplementation. Or maybe you've just been anemic in the past. Regardless, after birth, we need to replenish those iron stores. Now, low iron intake is pretty common during pregnancy. Only about 28% of the recommended daily amount tends to be consumed by pregnant women. So that's where we really want to focus our efforts in making sure we have plenty of iron-rich foods available. So here are some foods that are rich in iron. Beef, but even if you don't eat red meat, don't fret. There's iron in plant-based foods as well. So things like spinach, kidney beans, lentils, black beans, chickpeas, tofu, fortified cereals, dried fruit like apricots or raisins. There's a lot of iron-rich food options out there. All right, so next up we got vitamin D. And vitamin D intake tends to drop, and the status tends to drop during pregnancy and remain a little bit lower postpartum. Vitamin D does a lot of important things for us. It helps with immunity, with bone health, and with mood support. All things that we're going to care about postpartum, right? Now, there's not a lot of food that naturally contains vitamin D, but some food examples are fatty fish, so salmon, rainbow trout. You can even think things like canned salmon, canned tuna. And then there's your fortified foods like cow's milk, even some plant-based milks like almond milk or soy milk are fortified with vitamin D. There's also fortified orange juice, yogurts, cheeses. So just take a look at the labels and you may have a little vitamin D surprise. Next up, we're going to talk about choline. And you may be thinking, okay, what is choline? There's not a lot of talk about choline, especially in the doctor's office. And to be honest with you, I had never really thought about choline, and I'm a dietitian, until I was pregnant or about to become pregnant because I was doing a lot of research at the time. Choline is so important during pregnancy and postpartum, especially if you're breastfeeding. Your choline needs are actually higher postpartum if you're breastfeeding than they were when you were pregnant. And choline is so important because it helps with your baby's brain development, both in and out of the womb. Research has shown that not getting enough choline in your diet can actually lead to sluggishness, which is not something we want to encourage postpartum, right? We already have plenty of that going on without the lack of choline also contributing to that. There are minimal amounts in prenatal vitamins. And mostly this is because of the bulkiness of choline. If you had the exact amount of choline that you would need every day, then you would probably have to take a lot of prenatal multivitamins because it is a bulky nutrient. So there's a minimal amount, if any, in prenatal supplements. Some food examples of choline. Here we go. Brace yourself. The foods highest in choline are beef and chicken liver. I know. You may not be really into that. I know that you could not have paid me to add that in during my pregnancy or postpartum. I have heard of people doing beef and chicken liver like in your chili chopped up, so it kind of hides in there. But if that does not appeal to you, there are some other popular options. Choline is high in eggs, soybeans, shiitake mushrooms, milk, yogurt, cheese, chicken, ground beef, cooked cauliflower, and even quinoa. And this isn't an all-encompassing list, but I was trying to share with you the foods that are highest in choline. All right, next up, we have omega-3 fats. So these are really important postpartum. You may have heard of them as referred to as the healthy fat in our diet or when we're talking about a heart-healthy diet. Omega-3 fats are really important postpartum because they are actively transferred from you to baby in your breast milk, which is great. We want our babies to have healthy fats, right? We want them to have the omega-3s, help with their brain development. Let's do it. But this can lead the mother's own needs for omega-3 in a deficit if we're not getting enough in our diet. And omega-3 is important for us as well. It's important for our mood, for curbing inflammation, for that recovery process, and also for that all-important energy that we're looking for to get through the day postpartum. Foods high in omega-3 include your fatty fish and then some fortified foods. So think eggs, think milk, think some yogurt as well. And then there's also plant-based foods that have omega-3 in them. So chia seeds, flaxseed, and you want to get those ground so that you can absorb it very well, and walnut, all high in omega-3. Our last vitamin is B12. And B12 is important because it helps with energy, it helps with development of red blood cells, and it helps with mood. Vitamin B12 also affects the brain development of babies. Now, for most people who are eating meat or animal products, it's really easy to get vitamin B12 or adequate amount in your diet, especially if you're still taking your prenatal supplement or a multivitamin postpartum. The people who really need to pay attention to this are people who are vegetarian, vegan, foods that have B12 in them. Think fish, beef, poultry, eggs, dairy, so milk, yogurt, cheeses. But if you don't eat any of those foods, then what you want to look for are fortified foods like breakfast cereals, and then also considering a supplement of some kind. For all of these nutrients, if you're thinking about your typical diet, what you like to eat, maybe what you can and cannot eat according to your own preferences or any food restrictions that you may have, if you're worried about being low in any one nutrient, that's where you want to talk to a provider, especially at follow-up postpartum or with a registered dietitian. Hi. If you need recommendations that are really specific to your unique situation. I want to dive into protein and total energy in general. So total energy, like your total calories day to day. Many moms aren't eating enough. We've got other things that we're thinking about. Maybe we're skipping meals. Maybe we're just focused on nursing, on making those bottles, on trying to catch some shut-eye here and there, on just taking care of our baby and enjoying the process. So skipping meals can be quite common. But postpartum, and especially if you're breastfeeding, your calorie needs are higher than they were even during pregnancy. So think your baseline calories plus about 300 to 400 calories postpartum if you are breastfeeding. And that's also taking into account a natural cadence of weight loss postpartum. You still need extra calories in order to make that breast milk in order to heal and to recover postpartum. Now, if you're not breastfeeding, then your needs will be slightly elevated as you heal and recover, probably for the first few months at least. So thinking, okay, an extra snack a day is going to help fill in those needs. And going to protein. So protein is really important postpartum to help with healing, with tissue repair, with muscle support, and also with that energy that you're going to need throughout the day. So having a protein at each meal and snack can really help you with that baseline nutrition, getting that energy that you need throughout the day, and meeting your needs as you heal and recover. A lot of times moms can feel that stress, that pressure to bounce back, to look like they did before pregnancy, which is just not fair. It's not fair. I'm going to say it. It's not fair. If you think it's not fair, comment it below. But the truth is, if you are under eating, then that can actually prolong your recovery, worsen your energy day to day, and start affecting your milk supply if you're breastfeeding. So whether it's intentional or not, sometimes we undereat just because we're stressed out. You know, oh, I didn't eat breakfast. I didn't eat lunch. I was worried about all these other things. I was running around the house. Or maybe it's like, you know what? I am not feeling great in my postpartum body and I'm going to cut back. If we cut back too much, then that can really have a negative effect on our recovery. And honestly, it's not really going to help with weight loss either. If you're focused on something like weight loss, make sure that you're completely healed postpartum, that any complications have been resolved, that you are in a good spot before you are taking on any sort of weight loss goals. All right, so here are your key takeaways. There are several important nutrients that you want to keep in mind postpartum. Add in a few of the food examples that I mentioned every day, and you'll be well on your way to a smoother postpartum recovery. You can start with your next grocery list. And remember, I have that freebie linked below, and I'll send it straight to you. Remember, too, there's no need to be perfect here. We are just looking at progress. We are looking at feeling better every day, and we don't have to be perfect or eat perfectly in order to do that. I'm going to dive into some practical strategies to increase your energy as a new mom every day in this next video that I have coming up right here. Click on it. Bye.